Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kristen and I love to craft. Today we are going to be making a cute little witch Halloween card. I have already separated the dies. I just got it in the mail. We are also going to be using this die set, and this is a A2 layer die set, and it is also by Waffle Flower. And we are going to be using some 110 pound cardstock. We're going to be doing some ink blending. We have a lot to do today, so let's go ahead and get started on today's video. So for this die set, it is actually on a piece of magnetic paper, and you could get these from Amazon. They come with the little envelopes, that way that you don't lose all of your little die pieces. But we're going to be using this second one right here. And it has a cute little scalloped edge. I love that for a card. So let's go ahead and just put this back in here and get out the Sizzix Big Shot. Also, this is just a little handy tip. My mom took the packaging from Waffle Flower. She just cut it out and put it on the back side of this little die set. That way that we know, where this came from and what size it is and all the little details. So that's just a little handy tip if you do end up buying these magnetic folders. So here is my Sizzix Big Shot. I'm going to take off the cutting plates. And it does have instructions on it on how to layer all of your little cutting plates. I already have mine set up the way that I want to use it. So I'm going to take the top panel of the 110 pound cardstock. I'm going to put that down. And then I'm also going to place the die upside down. And then it's going to cut it out. So let's go ahead and roll this through. And now we have our top panel. I'm going to go ahead and set this to the side and put up the layering rectangle. That way that we don't lose any pieces. For the sentiment today, we are going to be using Honeybee stamps, and we are going to be doing You're My Favorite Person. So I'm going to go ahead and take it out of the packaging. And then we're also going to be using the coordinating die, which is this one right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set this to the side. I have my stamping folder here, and I'm going to take a little piece of cardstock and just use a little bit of washi tape, that way that we could hold it in place in case we have to double stamp it. And then we are going to put this stamp down. I'm going to do it towards the top, that way that we could keep using this piece of scrap cardstock. Let's redo that. That one kind of moved a little bit. Okay, so it's facing down, and then we're going to push it down a little bit, that way that it sticks to the top. All right, now I'm going to take my memento and just stamp it down. And then I'm going to flip it back over, and you don't want to push down too hard because it will smush it and the letters will not be all crisp and pretty. And this is how the stamp turned out. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe the stamp off, and let's go ahead and run it through the Sizzix Big Shot. I have my Sizzix Big Shot, and we have the sentiment here with the coordinating die. I'm also going to be using a piece of washi tape to put on top of it, that way that it does not move around while we're running it through the die cut machine. That looks about right. Put it down like that. Okay, now let's go ahead and run it through. Okay, and this is how it turned out. So the next thing that we are going to do is some ink blending. I have tons of stamps here, and I also have some blending brushes. We are going to be taping off the edges with washi tape. And I think for today, I'm going to be using this orange color. I'm gonna zoom y'all in just a little bit. I'm just going to peel up the washi tape. And I want to line the edge up with a scalloped edge. like that, and then let's go ahead and just push it down. And I want to do that for all 4 sides. Okay, now that I am done with that, let's go ahead and start ink blending. I want to do an ombre effect, so I'm going to go heavy on the bottom and lighter on the top. Okay, so I'm going to start by just tapping the ink pad, and then I'm going to tap a little bit of the excess off, and then I'm going to start blending upward. And then you could tap into the ink that you put on your glass mat. Again, blending upward. With an ombre effect, you do not want a drastic change between the colors, and so that's why it's good to work from the bottom upward. Ink blending is so much fun, especially if you are just beginning. It could seem a little bit hard to get the hang of, but once you practice a good bit, you will end up thinking like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe that I was so scared to start ink blending. But I love it so much. I think that it just adds a little bit of extra to your card, and it's also fun, especially just to like sit down at night and craft in your little craft room. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more towards the bottom. And then I'm going to start working my way in the middle, bringing that up. Okay, I think that that is all of the ink blending that I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the washi tape, and be careful because it's going to get on your fingers. Just try not to touch the outside where you did not ink blend. Here's a close-up view of the ink blending that we just did, and a little bit better look at that scalloped edge. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do is take all of our little pieces and start building up our card. This is just the top of a Bath & Body Works candle, so this is just a little tray to hold all the tiny little pieces. I did do the die cutting off camera because there are so many pieces within this card, but it's so much fun to make. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm also going to be using my precision glue tip, and this end is like a picking tool, so the little dies have holes in them, and so if it gets stuck, you just push it through. And then the other side of this tool is a wax tip, so it's easier to pick up all of your little pieces. First part I'm going to do are the legs, and I'm going to go ahead and add on the little purple pieces to the legs. Since these little lines are so tiny, I'm going to just do a few lines of glue. This glue does dry down very, very clear, so I don't really have to worry about any sort of white glue showing up. Okay, just press that down a little bit and then add the other one. The next thing that we are going to do is add on the little boots. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of glue here, and then add a little bit of glue here, and then put the boot on top, just like that. And I think I did add a little bit too much glue, so let me wipe that off. Okay, that looks great. We have some teeny tiny little bones to add to the boots, and I'm going to add just a little line again. They are so tiny, and it'll look a lot better once all that glue dries. The pieces are so tiny that it's hard to get just a little speck of glue on there. Okay, so now I'm going to add the dress, and I'm going to add some glue all the way around the circle. Okay, and just add the dress right there. And then I'm going to wait for all of this to dry, just for maybe 1 or 2 minutes. That way that none of the pieces move around, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm going to add on the little buckle, and I did this in gold cardstock. I thought that that would be just so cute to add a little bit of flash to this card. We're going to add the buckle here, and then we have 2 gold dots. Okay, now let's go ahead and build up her head, which is here. Now for this, I'll need just a little piece of cardstock to go on the back of her eyes. And we can go ahead and glue that down. Let me see, let's trim it down just a little bit more. And then we'll put it right there. And then we can go ahead and flip it over. Okay, so now for her cheeks, we're going to do 2 of these little green dots here. Okay, so we can add her hair right here. Just like that, and then we can also go ahead and add her head to her body. Okay, now she has a little piece right here. I think it's called a bow tie, but we can just add it right about there. Okay, so let me go ahead and let her head dry. That way that it does not move around a lot, and I will be right back. So let's go ahead and add on her little hands. And I'm going to add a little dot of glue here and another one here. And then just slide it right there at the sleeve. We can also go ahead and add her hat. Right there, and then there's also another piece that goes to her hat. Right, let's see. I think it goes like that. So I'm going to put a line of glue here. There we go. I think I actually want to move the hat up a little bit. Okay, right there. That looks good. Now I want to go ahead and build up the broom. So we have a little piece right here. Do a little dot like that. And then, let's see if we can pick it up. Okay, we need to take the rounded end, needs to go up. So we'll take the flat end and put it right there. And we will just let that dry for a second. Let's go ahead and add on the orange part to her hat. Oops, let's just use these little reverse tweezers, that way that it's easier to put this down. So now that the broom is done drying, we can flip it over. And we need to glue this tiny little piece to the top of the broom. All right, and then the last part, we are going to add a little bit of glue to the broom right here, and it's gonna look like she's holding it. Okay, so we have our card here and we have our panel here. I'm gonna go ahead and put some double-sided foam tape on here. I got this from the Dollar Tree. It comes in a 3-pack, and I'm going to take the biggest one and just roll it out. And we're gonna cut about 3 strips. And then I'm gonna go ahead and peel off the back. And then we can go ahead and put it on top of our card. Okay, now let's go ahead and add the witch. For this one, I want to do some little foam dots. These also came from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to add a couple on here. That way that it gives it a little bit of dimension. And then I will peel off the backs. Okay, so I ended up cutting a foam dot in half and put it down here on her feet. That way that it's more even. And I'm just peeling off the backs now. All right, let's go ahead and put down the witch. You can go ahead and press it down. Look how cute that looks. Oh my goodness, I'm just loving this card so much. Okay, so for this one, I'm not going to add any dimension. I'm just going to add some glue to it and then stick it down. Okay. And there's the sentiment. Okay, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to add any sequins or any of these little dots. So I think I'm just gonna go with the dots. I wanna go with maybe the purple ones. And let's see, I'm gonna add maybe a big one to the top, and then a medium-sized one, and then a small one. Like that. Okay. Thank you all so much for tuning into today's video. I hope that you enjoyed this card as much as I did, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!